Welcome back to the longest project of my life. This is my Unreal Engine project that I started, God, a year ago. No, sorry, a year ago was my last video update about this. Uh, it's been a long year. I did a whole other project. I made a whole other game because I thought this one was mostly done, and the parts that weren't done I wasn't trying to fix, including 3D modeling some things that, I still haven't done, but just the other day I thought, I wonder if I could get back into this, either learn from what I had been doing, or uh, do something new. How hard would it be to get back into it and figure out where I was? So, as here I've got this the windows open here. I fixed some things that I thought I would never fix, and it actually functionally is actually done. And I mean, like, exactly how I want it to be. There's one thing that doesn't work, and I'll show you what that is, but um, all the stock market functionality works. The end score screen is still garbage, and the pop-up that shows you scores and stuff also looks hideous. I gotta, aesthetically fix some things. Mechanically, functionally, you can buy shares, you can sell shares, you can get share dividends, you can lose all your shares, you can double all your shares if they split, and crucially, you can throw projectiles at other players and knock shares out of them, which you can then pick up. That was the whole thing that I wanted this game to do probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point, when I thought, I want to make this stock market game, but I want to do something different. I want to challenge myself. So I've done that, and I didn't even start this game. So it does that. Yeah, the projectiles work. The shares fall away. This is still a hot mess. You can't see me gesturing. This whole thing you're seeing here is just hideous. I'm going to turn that into a tutorial screen from the main menu that shows you those things, not all at once, so you can understand like what you're looking at. Trying to get my cursor. Okay, so you can see my cursor, right? Yeah. So this is these are two windows running as a client. No one's a server, but this player is hosting, which means they are functionally the server. This player has connected as a client using the menu. You can go back and look at the previous video to see like what that looks like. I want to point out that was day 37 of working on this. This is technically day 39, even though a year has passed since day 37. I didn't do a day 38, obviously. Also, you can see in this window, everything is cut off because doesn't scale. But anyway, not the point. So because this player is the host, in the main menu screen, I guess I could show you that, checked off combat enabled, which still technically says that it's temperamental, doesn't really work. That's no longer true. In the previous video, it was a separate box. It was just between the buttons. Now there's a button that says options. You click it, it pops out the side. It says check off the box. It's not really necessary. There aren't other options. If there were, it would make more sense. So because combat is enabled, we have this button here, which changes what type of projectile you're throwing. And you see that in the little icon up in the phone here. It changes color between the, I've already done thing. Between the 6 colors, and if you use Q to change your phone to here, you can see that I can change what I'm shooting. The reason that is gray is because I'm shooting a yellow projectile to knock grain shares off of. I realize the yellow thing says GRM, which is short for green. It's not short for grain. The purpose is to knock grain shares off of player B there. You can see he's B, and the other one, well, you can't see because this hideous thing is happening. Where is it? What the hell? Okay, I assure you there's a J. There, you can see it there. Kind of. Player B, player J. my objective of throwing this is, you can see that I've got a yellow projectile. You can't throw up. I don't know why I aimed up. You just throw forwards. To knock yellow shares out. He doesn't have any yellow shares, so nothing is happening. It knocks out an empty thing. You can go pick it up, but you get nothing for it. However, if I... Oh, now I got control of this guy. Running both things on one computer is not ideal. Okay, let me just go grab some... I lose track of... There's yellow. I mean, it's not like there's a giant yellow building telling me where it is, so I'll just go here and buy a bunch of shock... I bet you could hear that. That's loud. I gotta fix that. I don't know if there was a jump animation last time I recorded a video, an update video. A couple things changed, I think. There's actual water now. I think that was a box with a water material applied to it before. This is still, everything is still colored gray boxes, which is terrible for processing. I gotta fix that with actual 3D objects. Anyway, so now if I throw this yellow projectile, a yellow box, it's gray initially. I don't know if I had a reason for it being blank initially. You can still pick it up, I'm pretty sure, while it's white, and you would still get yellow shares from it. Anyway, so it pops out, turns yellow, goes a random direction. It bounces a little bit. There's a limit to how fast you can throw. There's a limit to how frequently you can be hit by a projectile, which is why I can see that I can spam this and he's not just flying out of him. You also see down the bottom left there that whenever he gets hit with a thing, he loses 100 grain shares. Okay, so now if I go pick this up, let me just switch my phone back over here. So you see I have no grain shares. I walk over this, I've got 100 grain shares. 200, 300, 400. If I can switch back to this guy. I'm not sure if I can get that one. I might be stuck. I can pick this back up. I can reclaim some of my shares. I mean, ideally, both players would be scrambling to get these. Can I get this? Yes, I can. Okay, so I recovered all but 400 of my shares. And that's what I wanted to do. That's the whole thing. That's the combat I wanted when I made a game called started making a game called Stock Market Brawl. Still, also terrible name. That needs to fix too. But and then they got the greenhouse here, which I don't know if the. I mean, Top Investors says B for both of those, and they have different values, which is obviously wrong, and neither of them really make sense. Unless green is worth a lot. Is green worth a lot right now? Yes. Okay, that's probably why. So B spent a bunch of money on green, but green is currently worth a bunch. I think that's what the greenhouse factors in. I think that takes into account what grain's worth. Oh yeah, I can see right there, grain's worth 155. Oh, it's going up too. I'm sure I mentioned that in a previous video, that the little arrow here, it's kind of like insider trading. If it goes up, I don't know, like 5 times before it goes down, the next, I think 5 times that it moves, it's either going to go up again or pay a dividend. Same with going down. It goes down 5 times more than it goes up. The next 5 will go down. Obviously not pay dividends unless it's over $1. I guess it does still pay dividends. I actually don't know if it pays dividends if it's over $1 but trending down. Guess I'll check that. Oh, it's been a year since I looked at this. And then yeah, so we can go back. Now I can go back with my stolen grain shares. Can I sell 100 at a time? I think so. Yeah. There you go. I just made. That doesn't say how much money I've made off of my stolen grain shares, but you can see I made money off my stolen grain by selling. Oh, I shouldn't have sold it. I think they go up. No, it's not trending anymore. It's by time to sell those. It's only 4. Oh my god, it's gonna split. This guy's gonna split his shares from 7,600 into 14, almost 15, more than 15,000 shares. Now I want to see it happen. Oh, it's going back down. I've never seen it happen naturally, I'll tell you right now. I have engineered it to go up and go down. Oh, maybe it'll happen. So that I know that it does happen. I've told it, like, only go up, so it goes up and then it splits and you go, okay, it works. Or only go down. Oh. Okay, my game actually timed out there while I was grabbing the baby. So you can see this menu here. So game ID can be anything, name can be anything. You must enter a game or a name now. It checks for that. I'm pretty sure. I know it does in the game I made since this one. I think it does. And then anyway, click show options and you get this hideous little pop out where you click on enable combat. I gotta delete the warning experimental because it's not experimental, it actually works. And then that's just how that works. Put the same game name in here, hit join. Give it a second, and there he is. Player J, player B. So all I wanted to add was what I had to fix to make it as finished as the functionality is, at least. Aesthetically, obviously, needs improvement. The issue I was having was the drop shares. There's also a weird sync issue with the client shooting the server, but I think it's because it's on my computer. I don't know if it's an actual issue to fix. I gotta test it on 2 different computers, I guess. The drop shares were falling through the either falling through the earth, so you couldn't pick them up, or they were they would land. They had solidness, whatever. But for the server player of the host, the boxes were enormous, and for the client, they were like minuscule. And I had no idea why they're doing that. And I googled it so many times, to figure out like why is it this way and not this way and whatever. And I tried a bunch of different things, and the main thing was also they wouldn't show up for both players necessarily, for the server and the client. But the projectiles would. So obviously I was doing something right with that, but not with the other one. Anyway, I changed it so that the drop shares were scene components, like the bullets. So that made them fall through the earth, and changing it so that the drop shares were a box as a root. Whatever this is, it's been too long. This root, what do you call it? Entity, whatever. That would make them inconsistent sizes, but they would drop. You could pick them up. And all I did was I found out that if I changed over here where the drop shares drop, this was set to 1, and the things themselves, Sam, can you not? The things themselves have their own size. Right now it's also just 1, but they were 0.25. So that's somehow they were being scaled up for, or maybe remaining at normal size for the server, but being their smaller size or real size for the client. I don't know which one was actually which. But I thought that this here was to scale them up or down from whatever size they were. So I thought making this 1 was just be their actual size. Don't get bigger or smaller. But this actually just means the same thing. It means that scale means everywhere else. Be this size. So I changed it to 1s, and they were all a normal size. Changed to 0.5s. I don't know that I did anything necessarily other than I changed this to 1s, and maybe that's what was messing it up. That it was small and it was trying to make it bigger when it spawned it. I don't really know why it changed, but it works now, obviously. I also just while I'm in here, I tried to change it so for the projectiles. There's up here. I'm going to stop this simulation. When the projectile is fired, it's initially has no color, very briefly has no color. Then it gains color because there's a delay. I'm not 100% certain why I made this very, very small delay. And then it gets the data from the data table, it gets the color and applies the color to the thing, and then now it's a color. I changed it so that the color would be, I think it's still set, yeah, it's to expose on spawn, so that when the player spawns the projectile, they would tell it right up front, be this color. But I think that didn't work because it was only happening for the client that was doing it. That wasn't being replicated because it wasn't getting into here and being replicated for everyone, I think. So I changed that back and it doesn't do that anymore. But I always feel that things you can apply things like that on spawn. I thought, oh, what a simple way to remember that I can use expose on spawn by doing it for this, but it didn't work, didn't pan out. So that's where we're at. Oh, I made a new drop shares thing that was a copy of the projectiles blueprint to see if that fixed it. But while I was testing it, I didn't actually change it to the new one. It was still set to the old one and started working. So that was not necessary, and I don't even know what fixed it at that point. Oh, my camera's so high. Nope. Not better. I've been hanging the microphone up higher. Now I have it down. It's in my face again. Okay, so that's where this project is at. It functionally done. You can buy, sell, get dividends. It splits the crash. You shoot people. They drop shares. You pick up shares. There's some back end math that probably doesn't work. The average price paid. While I was walking around upstairs, I was thinking that doesn't do what I want it to do, and I'm not sure what the math is to make it do what I want it to do. Additionally, the greenhouse overlay is hideous. It doesn't do anything, so I could, remove it and you'd never miss it. The only point of it is that it's a callback to the last time I made this stock market game, and I called it the greenhouse, and that was its whole identity. It was called the greenhouse. So I don't want to call this one the greenhouse because it makes no sense. It doesn't mean anything. I'd rather have a name that tells you, like, this is a stock market game about, like, combat or whatever. I'm not good with names. Yes, the greenhouse overlay, garbage. The tutorial screen, I got to change that into an actual separate thing. With buttons that, like, click through to show you different elements of it at once, so you're not seeing the whole thing. And then basically everything that isn't a player or a bullet or a dropped share or a interaction terminal. I just really don't know if the bank terminal still works. I think it does. But you have to have a certain amount of money to use it. Everything else, this gazebo that I love putting that together. The buildings. Oh, I bet you were hearing the. I wonder if you were hearing the terrible music. That might make this video hard to watch. I'm gonna have to remove that audio track. I hope they store separately. Anyway, all these buildings, they're just gray boxes, which is what you use for planning levels, not for making levels. So they're just they're basically math boxes. Like they're not actors. They're not 3D like object things. They're sort of just like they call them binary space partitions. Is what BSP I think stands for. So there's like as I understand it, it's just like the engine tells this space to be a box, but it's not actually a box. It just like makes like a placeholder for a box. I don't really fully remember what the hell that was or how it works. Oh yeah, if you're under 1,000, you take a loan. Okay. Can I get under 1,000? Yes. Can I have a loan? Yes. Sweet. Okay, yep, confirmed. Loans work. That's why the buildings don't have insides anymore. Because yeah. Okay, now I'm not sure because they're definitely still gray boxes. But the reason I had doors and insides was that I had boxes like subtracting the insides. So it was like you put a box at a box, tell it to subtract this box. Now you have a hole in that box. It doesn't do that now because you know what? I genuinely don't know why it's not doing it right now. They're definitely not. Explore with me, won't you? They're definitely not actors. I didn't make 3D object buildings. Cube. Cubes are static mesh. Maybe they aren't gray boxes anymore. Oh yeah, this is the what's this called that brings in? Brush. Okay. So they are actual cubes. They're static meshes. They're not like BSP brushes. So they don't have insides because you can't subtract from a static mesh. They're just a 3D thing. Okay, so I taught myself something there that I totally forgot about. Also, the water doesn't work super well, but I actually didn't remember that I even made water work to begin with, so I'm not too bent out of shape about that. And yeah, the lighting's not great in some places. It's very dark in some spots. Only 2 benches. I gotta put another bench in there, at least one more bench. Anyway, that's it. That's this game. I mean, I'll probably do an update at some point in the future when I aesthetically make it look better. But I might have to. Wow, I think I'll package it, send it to some people, and have an actual online game with it. But it might still be unwieldy to in size to send anyone. So to figure that out. Also, the menu needs to be not black. I need to make it. I was gonna think maybe like take a screenshot like overhead of this, make that the background of the main menu. But I want it to be something, you know, relevant. I'll figure it out. Anyway, that's 24 minutes. I meant this to be like, I don't know, 8 minutes. But thanks for watching. Thanks for staying interested in this project that's still not really done, but like functionally as done as it was ever supposed to be after a year and a half. And we'll catch you next time, whatever that is and whatever I'm doing. Thanks for watching.